it wasn't just a movement for women, but it was a movement of what she was saying. What it ain't, it's your girl Ombre Alert, and I am back with another video. I'm sorry, it's a lot of noise in the background. I'm trying to get this video done anyway. Regardless, we are super close to 500 subscribers. Like, I'm shocked. Honestly, I have been really busy. And I've noticed a change. Like, I noticed, like, I haven't been as happy because I haven't been recording. So here I am. I'm really trying to get back into recording as much as I was before, because this is something that I really love to do. And when you're not doing something that you love, like, life just becomes a lot more hard to deal with, a lot more difficult, and you become a little bit more negative than you normally would be. So I'm trying to get out of that and just get back to doing things that I'm passionate about. Speaking of passionate and passions, I am still doing my business, Empress Solutions. I do have 2 new products on the way, coming very soon. Just stay tuned for that. The Royal Oil is out now. It's still out. It's been out since, I believe, April. I think that's when I first launched the Royal Oil. Out now. Please go grab it. A lot of people love it. So far, I've sold maybe 3 or 4. If you're interested, make sure that you go click the link down in the description box so you can get your own Royal Oil. I use it every day. This is probably my third, this is probably my third refill of the Royal Oil. This is what it is. This is what it looks like. I use it every morning, every night if I need to. It's bomb. It has castor oil in it, rosemary, and sweet almond oil. So if you're interested in some hair growth oil this summer, make sure you get your hands on it right now before it's all gone. A lot of updates are coming soon. A lot more products, a lot more videos, I promise. I'm really not myself without doing this. Like, this is something I'm passionate about. So with all that being said, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and let's get into the video. Today's video is going to be about the Janet Jackson documentary. Yes, I know I'm so late. I actually watched this documentary months ago, and I don't know why I pushed it to the side so many times when it came to, like, recording it. I don't know if I had enough information. I was so into the documentary itself that I wasn't taking as much notes as I wanted to, because it was just so interesting. So with all that being said, if you want to hear my point of view on the Janet Jackson documentary, then let's get into it. This documentary dropped, I think, on Lifetime. I was trying to find it on YouTube. I was trying to find it on Lifetime, and it was just impossible for me to find it as soon as it came out. So I had to wait till it came on TV. So when it did, I recorded it on my TV, and then I made sure I had my notes and everything ready, okay? This documentary was so important, and it was kind of like a biography mixed with a documentary. And you really got a chance to see Janet Jackson in a way that you haven't seen her before, in a very vulnerable state, in a very personal state. And this documentary was really good for all women to look at, just to see someone grow up around a lot of strong black men, being a black woman herself, and, you know, kind of working her way through them to get to the top. Using them, of course, as inspiration, but creating her own magic and creating her own vision for what she wanted for her life. So I thought that this documentary was spot on. It was perfect, and it was very honest. Like, I was surprised that she was very honest about a lot of the things that went on in her life. A lot of her point of view was very honest. I watched the documentary. It started off, she was in the car talking about you know, her brothers. I think she saw a mural of her brothers, and she started crying. They're from Gary, Indiana, so she was in her, you know, hometown. That's how it started off. They went to go see their family house. Her and, I think, I don't know if it was Reby. I think it was Reby. No, I think that's the girl's name. Child, I get all of them mixed up. She was in a car with, or she met up with one of her brothers and went inside their family's home, which they have to this day. They own their house. And they were just reminiscing about old times and, things like that. And then it started getting into Janet separately and how she came about, what she brought to the family when it was just a lot of boys. Like, it was all boys until, well, it wasn't all boys. It was two, it was two other girls, but they were older. So when she came in, it was just like she was the baby girl. So it was really cool to see like how came into the family. It just gave everybody new energy, new life, and new creativity. And she talked a lot about their upbringing and how they rehearsed all the time and how it was difficult for everyone to really get adjusted to once they started doing shows. And I thought it was important to note that they grew up in the 60s and, during that time in, America in general, black people just didn't have a lot of rights. Black people didn't get treated fairly. So they were growing up in a 9 total kids household, just, trying to make ends meet. Their parents were Jehovah Witnesses. They're growing up in a Jehovah Witness background family in the 60s. A lot of kids in the house. And, just trying to get by, just trying to make it for real, for real. Jackson's, the kids, their father, Joe Jackson, he used to be in a group himself, and he was a musician. So, he noticed that his kids was talented, so he put a lot of that energy into helping his kids, rehearsing with them day and night, making sure that they knew, what they were doing, they had stage presence. So all of this was premeditated, like them becoming international superstars. The boys actually auditioned for Motown in 1968, and, they got on Motown Records, of course, after all of the, nights in the car and going to clubs to perform. And after doing all of that, they made it. They were on TV. Like, they had deals coming. They were doing voiceovers. Like, they were on Motown. So it just opened up a lot of doors and opportunities for them. And in 1971, they actually moved to California into like a all-white suburban neighborhood, and they were the first black family to move in. One of the neighbors actually said people were passing around a petition to get them out of the neighborhood and saying like they need to go back to where they came from. Just a whole bunch of like racist stuff. And that was something that I didn't know about them. And it's like you don't realize that they were so famous at such a young age, and they were like breaking the mold in America and really breaking down a lot of hidden barriers. So I think that was something that a lot of people didn't know, that they had to. It's like growing up knowing that you're different from other people and seeing people react to that in a bad way. It's hard for kids because kids don't look at people like that. Kids just go off of vibes, personality, all of that. She got older. Janet became more part of the group. They were on this TV show. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen because I forgot. They were on this TV show a lot, performing. Diana Ross would be on the show too. And Janet, like, wiggled her way through so that she can get in it too. And she brought a lot of the funny humor to the show, a lot of the sass to the show. So she was a good addition to the group. As she got older, she wanted to do music too. As I would say, this was around the time that Michael Jackson went solo and did his Off the Wall album. And Janet wanted to do her own thing too. She wanted to make music, and she wanted to make music the way she wanted to. And she was under her father's management at the time, and it was a lot of things that she couldn't put into her own music, which of course bothered her. And she wanted her first album to be called Janet, but I think it was called Janet Jackson. And anytime she did an interview, they asked her about Michael, they asked her about her brothers. So it was just a lot for her to deal with. A lot of people didn't really want to hear her sing because they just cared about the brothers. So it was a lot for her to actually overcome, and it was a lot of confidence that she had to build within herself. And this is how you know the true magic of like believing in yourself as a black woman. Like, it's really hard to do that when it's a lot of strong black men around you that are focused on their own paths and focused on their own thing. And it's like she really, really, really had to dig deep within herself and find that energy that was inside of her the whole time. She just had to unleash it and unlock it. She was really tired of being under her brother's shadow and, you know, talking about her brothers all the time. I know I would be sick of it too. Kind of interesting too for me because I grew up with not as many siblings, but I grew up with 3 other siblings, and I always constantly got compared to my sisters. So most of the time, people would contrast me from my sisters, like what my sisters had better than me or whatever, body wise, whatever. But it's annoying being pent up against your siblings like that, because you love your siblings for who they are, and you don't see them as, you know, oh, this one is good at this and you're not good at that. Like, it's too much. So I can't imagine being famous and a whole bunch of people that don't know you have all these opinions. So as she got older, she started dating James DeBarge, and him and his brothers were the DeBarges. They were famous. They were singers at the time too. Everybody loved them. They were light skinned. They were cute. Jerry curl, like cute guys. Started dating him when she was 16, and then they secretly got married. Relationship took a turn for the worse, because even on their honeymoon night, like, he left and didn't come back, and he started having this suspicious behavior, and come to find out he was doing drugs. And for some time in their relationship, he would go missing. She wouldn't hear from him for months at a time, and it wasn't until she caught him one time, I think, with the drugs, that she knew he was on drugs. So it was just a whole mess. And their marriage and their relationship only lasted a year until it got annulled. The thing about this documentary that I like the most is that she was very open about her relationships, and didn't realize she had as many relationships as she did have, but she was very open about, you know, what happened and why, and, you know, it was just very interesting. Even with her and James DeBarge, it was like a rumor that she got pregnant, and it was just a bunch of mess with that one too. And there was a rumor that there was a secret baby somewhere, and it was just a lot. After that, I think that was like her last straw, especially as far as men. And this time she got hurt in a different way, and it was from a relationship. So I think that she really wanted to, like, just get control of her life. So she left her dad's management, and then she started to work on a real album. I think this also was around the time that Michael's Thriller had came out, and she felt a lot of the success of that. She loved her brother, she proud of her brother, but she want her own success. She want to make herself proud. And I understand that. I understand being excited and happy for your siblings, but you want to be happy for yourself at the same time. After Thriller, because Michael had got snubbed for an award, which clearly should have been his, I think that he was really bothered by that. And I think around that time, he thought of himself as, you know, this iconic superstar. I mean, everybody did, because Thriller was just this project that no one had ever, like, made before. And he put so much energy into it, and when it wasn't received properly, and he was treated just like as a black artist, and he didn't see himself that way. He saw himself as a star, like, period. But when he got treated as just like a black artist, I think that that's when he became, like, really insecure about himself and about his race and his identity. I think that's when that started. And I think Janet talked about noticing a difference in him after that album, and that they didn't speak to each other as much, and that they used to be really, really close. and he just, you know, became more like to himself and lonely, and that's when she noticed a change in their relationship because they didn't really talk as much as they used to. I think that's sad. I think that's just so sad that he felt like he couldn't talk to her about how he felt, or any of his siblings. I always thought about that too, because I have brothers and sisters, and you know, it's times where I do feel ashamed of things that I've done, or accolades I didn't get, but I always feel like I can talk to at least one of them if I can't talk to all. Because we all busy at the end of the day, but still, like, I just think it's sad that he felt like he couldn't talk to her. She created her Control album. That was the album. Everyone loved the Control album. That was like something that a woman wasn't really saying at the time, that she's taking control of her life. I don't need my dad to tell me what to do. I don't need a man, period, to tell me what to do. This is the way I'm going to do it. And this is my style. That's when it wasn't just a movement for women, but it was a movement of what she was saying. The lyrics really mattered. The style in which the militant attire that she was wearing, everything about that it just showed strength, it just showed power, and she had it. And that's when she really made it, is with that album. Of course, in the documentary, she also talked about like her other relationships, like with the guy Renee, the one that was the video director. He I didn't even know they was together. And they showed the clip of Tupac talking about, you know, I mean, people were saying that her and Tupac on the set of Poetic Justice, that's when, you know, they had a lot of chemistry, you know, a lot of chemistry. And he was saying, I wanted to kiss her just because her man was right there, you know what I'm saying? But I think she was disappointed with that relationship too, because he just seemed like he was a fan. Like after a while, he just wouldn't put the camera down, was like vlogging. I guess we would call it vlogging nowadays. But he was like vlogging everything, and he was just being like real fan-like, you feel me?